can't even see me. I figured that light would turn off. You can't even really see me with that either. Let's see, does this help? Yeah, but now I can't even see. Need a new mount. It's as simple as that. So, this is going to be one dark video. Been a while. I had lots of things to think about, and I'm at that tipping point. I'm at that point where things keep reminding me of her. Other things like coworkers being mean. I know most of them are doing it as a joke, but some of them you can't tell that they're joking because they're pissed off at life themselves and stuff like that. I figured that would happen. Every time I go to work and I see the multi-story parking that the SkyTrain takes me to at Terminal 4, I am constantly reminded that people do end up suiciding off of that. And to be honest, it's sounding pretty tempting right now. So I don't know what to do. I have a history of making one bad choice after another. This would be the ultimate bad choice. But it would definitely be my last. Literally the only thing that is preventing me from offing myself is that I don't want my soon-to-be ex-wife to get my stuff, to inherit my stuff. I mean, it's as simple as that. That's the only way, the only reason right now that I haven't killed myself. I have about 45 miles to get to home, and I have, according to my indicator here, I have 37 miles per gallon, or 37 miles to go on my tank. So I'm forced to call in sick tomorrow, and I'm going to call in sick legitimately because, you know, I'm having these thoughts about killing myself. Yet, in the business world, having suicidal thoughts and stuff like that is not a legitimate medical reason to call off. And they're not going to give a shit. They're going to say, you need to get a doctor's note or something like that. And when, for me, it's all about time. I don't need, maybe I do need a doctor, maybe I don't. I don't think I do. I don't think I need meds. My parents think that I do. Pretty much everybody in my family thinks I'm a fuck up anyways. So, it's... I just don't know. I mean, clearly I am a fuck up because I can't even speak or think clearly or cognitively, or I don't know what the fuck. See, I can't even form the correct words is what I'm trying to get at. Nothing works for me, really. I've been burned so many times that I'm just done. And by burned, I mean, relationships, yes. I've been burned by friends. I've been burned by coworkers. I've been burned by everyone, basically. The only friends that I actually have are not actual friends. They're just people I know that live in other states, or they may live in this state, but I never see them. And I highly doubt they're the type of people that would give their time or their money or their love to me to help me out. And so, basically they're more like acquaintances than they are friends. Yeah, they'll go on, the messengers and say, hey, what's up, and I'll say, well, I'm feeling depressed or something. They'll be like, oh, why, blah, 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 but are they the type of people that would support me? Would they risk their lives for me? I highly doubt it. Would they risk their livelihoods? I doubt it. So really, in reality, I have zero friends. None whatsoever. I thought I had a friend before. He moved away. I helped him move back. He moved away again. Before, during, and after all that, there's been some shenanigans with him. He got into drugs. He got out of drugs. He got in with some cult. He claimed it was a church group, but they were a cult. They were using him. They didn't need him except for his money. Every time they had a cookout or they didn't even have a church. They would just go to community parks. And I highly even doubt they even rented the space at the parks. They just showed up and and said, this is where we're going to have the barbecue and the sermon and all that stuff. And then they would conveniently forget something. Oh, we forgot the forks. We forgot the cups. We forgot the plates. We forgot the ketchup. And then they would send him to the store and force him to pay out of pocket for the stuff that they should have brought in the first place. Then they were asking him, I think, something like 30% of his paycheck to donate to them. And then he was actually doing like 50% of his paychecks or something. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. So we had a falling out when he started getting into the drugs. He and two other friends of his, not mine, coerced me to meet up with them over in some field that had tall weeds and grass and all that stuff. Claiming that, if we rolled up with multiple vehicles to his parents' house, they would get pissed off or something. And I could understand that, because some communities have an HOA where you're not allowed to park on the street, or stuff like that. And I can understand that, so I didn't really think too much of it. So I was thinking, well, we're actually not that far from my place that I'm staying, so I could always park my car off there. And well, no, that wasn't going fly with them. So what they ended up doing is coercing me into their car. They locked all the doors. They rolled up the windows, and this is one of the cars where it had safety lock, or the child locks on the back, engaged. So even if I were to pull up on the door, on the doorknob, or pull up on the lock itself, it wouldn't unlock. And they proceeded to try to get me to do drugs. And my so-called friend was also trying to get me to do these drugs. And he was like, oh, well, just take one hit and they'll let you out. And I'm screaming and bashing on the window, trying to break out of the car. And, eventually they do let me out. And I'm reeking full of weed and whatever other drugs they've had. That my vehicle at the time, which was a 81 Toyota Corolla station wagon, I opened up all four windows and the hatch on the back of the vehicle just to air out myself and the car, so I didn't roll up on a cop smelling like weed and the cop thinking that I was the one that was doing the drugs. Well, what happened is I ended up driving around and finding a security guard to the auto parts, or the auto sales place that was, right around the corner. And I let him know that where they were and what they were trying to do and what they were trying to get me to do. And then I raced all the way to a gas station where I knew there was a payphone, because at this point I didn't have a cell phone. This was back when cell phones were brand spanking new, and nobody that didn't have a job, basically, could afford to have a cell phone. Well, I end up calling his mother and got him in trouble, and then he comes over to my place and steals a bumper sticker that he was jealous that I had off my car. Can I? No, I cannot. And I